find out. Now, should we tell our partners about these problems, or we should wait till they ask, or maybe even until the partners themselves find out? Some of these issues may range from medical conditions to setting bad habits, or even having children, outside the marriage. Now, like I said, I have these two wonderful people with me, and so we can start. I mean, Mommy, let me start off with you. We are all human beings, and human beings as we are, we may at one point in time have certain, health issues, or have some bad habits, or may have something, in our cupboards in our cupboard that we wouldn't want anybody to know of. And so in a relationship, question I need to ask is this: how vital or important is it to share some of these embarrassing, situations or conditions or health issues with your partner? You're not married yet. But how important is it?
Thank you. And good afternoon to listeners. And if I may, let me take the opportunity to wish Dr. A.C. Boateng a happy birthday.
Okay.
He's a brilliant doctor. I could say much more, but he's a wonderful person and a brilliant doctor. We pray that the Lord will bless him.
Amen.
In a relationship, it's not very easy to open up. I just want to bring it down to opening up.
Okay.
What other people will state as intimacy. Normally when we say intimacy, people's minds just go straight to sex. But intimacy is opening up about our deepest feelings and certain experiences that we rather not like any other person to share with us. Sometimes they could even be happy experiences, but most of the time they kind of come in a package whereby we are afraid that when we open up, it will make the other person look at us differently, or look at us even in a very bad light, or change the individual's perception about us. So it's like we don't feel safe telling the next person about it. And anything that does not make you feel safe, it can even be like today when I got up, I was late for work and my boss was not happy with me. You tell your partner that, and then he's like, as for you, every time he starts judging you, he starts raking back the past incidents when you were late, and he makes you feel more small, in quotes. Then it means that when you open up to that particular individual on those things, he does not make you feel safe. He rather makes you feel more small. He makes you feel, if you like, more stupid, if I can use that word. Makes you feel like endangered. It makes you feel unprotected. We have an adage in trees, like you are asleep and your legs are outside. The next moment you hear this very information that you shared, with a close friend outside, like we normally say on the radio, FM, everybody has heard it. So all these things make us feel not wanting to open up. So if it's something small, something that's not really a deep part of you, something that you are not passionate about, something that you really could care less about, that one you can share with the next person. So coming back to relationships, we are in a relationship, we hope to get married. We are not yet married, but we've been friends for a little while. That the level of friendship and the character of the person you have observed should lead you to know how much, then to what extent you can open up about certain deep feelings and certain attitudes. But when it comes to medical conditions, when it comes to things that will have a direct and huge impact on your relationship, like having had a child before, or even haven't had an abortion, fine. But having had an abortion that has had complications on your ability to further have more children, we need to, as the relationship progresses and we realize that it's getting beyond a certain serious point, you need to quickly alert the individual. And then as for that one, it's like, come fire, hell, or high water. If I lose you, it is better. Because if you don't let the individual know, after years, whenever it comes up, the relationship will still break. Or let me say, the relationship may still break.
Or may suffer.
May suffer.
Yeah.
So it is usually better to open up on certain key things. Let me tell you a very sad story. It's a true story. I know the people involved.
Okay.
The lady had sickle cell anemia, SS, and she had had rebuttals. Whenever people found out that she was SS, then the relationship broke up. So she met this nice guy, and the family, everybody kept mum about her condition.
Because of her past experiences, by telling and losing the men,
she decided to keep quiet. So they got married. I was at the wedding. And then a few months later, she got pregnant. And she was going for her antenatals. But you see, David, before the wedding, those were the times when HIV was really rife, and churches demanded that you do blood tests, sickle, and those things. They went and did a blood test. The lady managed to get the lab to falsify her results.
For the sickle cell?
For the sickle cell.
Well,
of course, she wasn't HIV positive.
Yes, I understand.
So she falsified the results for the sickle cell.
Wow.
And so the guy just thought that this is a normal person. So when she got pregnant, she was always attending antenatals alone at some clinic, not like Confanochi.
A private facility.
A private facility. Okay. Then she got a crisis. Because the guy didn't know, he sent her to the private facility. So, like, by the time they said send her to Confanochi, now the doctors accosted him. Why is it that you know your wife is SS and you've kept her sending her to a private facility instead of bringing her to us? This guy said that to me, I held the doctor by his shirt collar. What do you mean? My wife is not a sickle cell patient. Why are you telling me that it was like blows? But she actually was, and she died. 8 months pregnancy.
Wow.
And he was carrying the lady's death certificate. Then he was, look, my wife, she was a sickle cell patient, and I never knew. It blew his mind. It took the grace of God to bring him back to actually trust people. So there are certain things that are so essential. You've had an abortion, 1, 2, 3. You can even have one abortion, and if you go to a quack, it can give you problems. If you love me, this is what I have done. Because when I marry you, after 6 years of treatment, and then nothing is happening, one day I have to tell you. So if I really love you, I should let you know. But when you tell, it's actually dependent upon the openness in the relationship. But you must tell before you tie the knot. You must tell before you do what we call engagement. Because, engagement is actual marriage.
Yeah.
Engagement is actual marriage, so don't say it after the engagement. It is too late. And allow the person to work through the pain, to work through the mental agony, and let him decide, maybe by the grace of God, that I will take you like that. And when you start a journey like that, and both of you are naked and you are not ashamed, when the problems come, the person will stand by you and will support you to go through whatever upheavals that the particular problem or habit or setback will bring your way.
Well, I've heard a couple of things you've touched on here this afternoon. One of which is the fact that you are saying that it's absolutely necessary to tell your partner, but based on the level of the friendship or relationship you have, how far you've come. It's not that you start and then you start talking.
No.
But make sure you've gone that far.
No.
There are some commitments, then you share.
Yes.
And you're saying that you should share based on some very critical issues like issues on health.
Yes.
And indeed, I'd like to quickly say that we're streaming live on Facebook. For those of you who haven't seen, beautiful Auntie Mimi before,
Oh my goodness.
if you log on to Facebook, you get to see how pretty she really is. And I admire her in so many ways. And Kofi, of course, is also with me. And so you're saying that for very salient, very critical conditions, that has to do with health and all, they need to share.
They need to share.
But for those who, for one reason or the other, are uncomfortable to share, and use the word again along the line, afraid, would you say that the fear is legitimate?
The fear is legitimate because they may dump you. You may be dumped, or you may be seen in a very bad light. For instance, I wouldn't advise that you tell your partner whom you hope to marry that you are a virgin when you are not. Tell him that I'm not a virgin. I've had a boyfriend or two. I know what sex is all about. But I don't expect that you're going to tell him all the details about your sexual escapades with, various boyfriends. No, I'm not. When I say open up, I'm not talking about those kind of things. But certainly let him know that, Jack, when I didn't know better, or I really fell in love, I knew better, I really fell in love with this guy, and I thought that was a good way of showing my love. So I'm not a virgin. I've had sex before. Maybe he was not the only one, but now because of you, I'm clean, I'm straight, and let them know. Don't behave. I know that there are some ladies, they do all manner of things. We have some tightening agents,
and then they calculate surgery to meet around the menstrual area, so you see blood, and your mind is like, oh, okay.
And it's not good enough. One day, very soon, you're going to come up with these guys, and it will come up by all means. And then even if you have built your relationship up to a certain level, this thing will take you back way back. But let me be, maybe later on.
Please go on. Please go on. No, please say.
I also know of a relationship. They are now about 40 years into the marriage, and it came up 30 years after the marriage that the gentleman had 4 sons. Not
one or two. 4.
4 sons.
With one woman?
2 women.
Okay.
And it's like, it was more of a rumor all along, but the gentleman consistently denied it. So one day, one of the sons had finished university, and he called the stepmother. He said, I'm your son, I want to come home. And I said that at that time, the relationship had gotten to a place where it doesn't really matter anymore. So one of their biological children said, Mommy, if I were you, I would leave Daddy. And she said, if this had happened 10 years, 20 years before, or 30 years before, certainly I would have left. Because when the rumors came up, I heard about slappings and stuff. But the guy consistently denied it. So they matured in their relationship to a point where they were comfortable with each other. They knew many of the other things that both of them had done. They had agreed to forgive each other. And in a relationship, you get to a point where I've suffered enough. I'm not going to leave this for somebody else to come and enjoy. So when the guy called, it was like, okay, come home. You are welcome. We are happy that you have come. So I'm also bringing in the aspect of timing. It's very crucial. But no, I can't have children and that kind of thing. That one, you can't say it after 20 years. That one is like you have been very wicked to the partner.
Do you also agree that you need to tell? You're a man. I mean, there are some women who may hear certain things about their men, or they themselves know, and they may ask or may not ask, yes, oh, about baby, was it baby? Oh, yes, oh, Pema, oh, was it baby? Meanwhile, stuff like that. I mean, so what I'm trying to know is, where do you also stand on this whole conversation, knowing very well, or having at the back of your mind, that there's the danger or the risk of losing that person if you open up and tell?
Good afternoon to our cherished listeners. I think Mommy has really touched on so many things I have really jotted here. The point is clear. There's a relationship that is geared towards marriage, or possibly a lifetime partner. And I believe, in as much as you can't possibly open up to details. Certain things, if I refresh the question you asked, unpleasant.
Embarrassing, unpleasant, something that you're not too excited about, yeah.
Everything that is in that position means that when the other party hears it and gets mad, the person is justified. Because you have agreed that it's unpleasant. And sometimes the difficulty is a lot of times we don't build that friendship stage where we are able to still cope, though we know this is the challenge. We can contain it. Oh, it's not a problem. I mean, we are not all the same. We are all not perfect. I agree with you, but let's trust God. I think we can still make it work. But when we have not gotten to the point where we can confidently say that this party that I am working with, this party that I am agreeing to work with, can understand and feel for me, I'll rather shelve it. Some of them may even intentionally do it, especially when they have issues with you. There are some people, for some reasons, maybe the one they love so much jolted them along the line, and now you are the next line. They have this vindictive attitude towards men, but they have fallen in love with you and going with you. And maybe along the line she had an abortion, like Mommy said, and knows the consequences. She knows it was the complicated type, so it's likely she may not give birth. And she has this whole notion that men are wicked. The next thing is to marry you and keep mute. When we get married and kids are not coming, at the end of the day, she is punishing all men through you. You have become the subject. And sometimes when you hear such stories, you begin to feel somehow confused whether people are able to keep some of this poison in their hearts for life, to the extent that an innocent man who is working in somewhere trying to make life work
How innocent is that man?
Oh, please. I mean, I didn't do it. But and it's interesting, people are living with partners who have such ideas. They already formed opinion about women before they marry their wife. And so all the treatment and everything that they are bottling up, they are not sharing, is as a result of an opinion, an experience they had with one lady or the other. But the truth of the matter is, in the Christian sector, there are so many things you cannot know before you marry your partner. You are not supposed to sleep with the same partner, not even in sex, but you cannot sleep if you are not going to sleep with the person in terms of sex. Nobody will advise you to share the same bed with the person. There are some people who snore heavily. Issues like this, you will never know until the day you marry your partner. He sleeps and you wake up and say, hey, should I run away? And it becomes a fight. Those things, you know yourself. If you cannot share with your partner, I can confidently tell you that friends do know many secrets about each other. There are so many friends. Oh, Jack, as for me, you know me, when I sleep, I snore. We feel so free telling the colleague or the friend we have bonded over the years, and we think it's normal. But the partner we intend to marry, we think it is rather prudent to keep it. Meanwhile, that person is the one who are going to lie on the same bed for life.
Kofi, let me throw in this question. I know you want to add a few things, but let me throw in this question. In relationship, especially the one that we want to take far and marry and settle as husband and wife, my question is this. Do you think that we, in the relationship, ask the right relevant questions? Do we ask questions?
The typical example I'm giving, will you ask your partner, do you snore?
No, but I'm thinking that.
Will you ask?
Let me put the question across. You understand me better. I'm thinking that we don't ask questions. We rather assume that certain things that is going on in the life of my partner, she would share or he would share. But that is the ideal. But what if I just come out and ask you, is there anything I need to know about you? Is there anything in terms of health, in terms of character, in terms of morals? Can I ask a question? And if I do ask, is it relevant? Can that help me get to know who I am dating and who I intend to marry?
Dave, there are some of them, just like Mommy said. Health. I wrote it even before she meant the sickle cell issue. It's an issue. You can't keep it. And if your partner, supposing during the time of courtship, Your partner keeps reporting some perennial ailment that keeps coming here and there, and then it doesn't click. It could be that on your blind side you could not even relate it to sickle cell, so you didn't ask. But it is a very honorable thing for the one who is bearing that condition to tell. You don't have to push everything to the one you are dating to be, oh, didn't you see the signs, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes let us open up. That is what friendship is all about.
But what again is wrong if we decide to probe by asking questions?
That is why I'm saying that in love, you'll have a partner. The person keeps reporting to the hospital, oh, today I have headache, today I have that. You may assume, especially when the person happens to be with the kind of job the person does, suggest that he can easily get this fatigue and other things. Love will not possibly let your mind travel. That's why counseling is important, because sometimes during this period, some of these questions are asked probably to draw attention to the possible effect they may bring. But on a general line, some even don't check the blood groups. I don't think I did. It was not a bother to me.
It wasn't an issue.
It wasn't an issue. Are you getting it? But most of us did not do it. So somebody may not whether, oh, what type of blood group are you? So that supposing there was an emergency, am I even in the position to donate? Do I have to cross lines to be able to seek for someone to donate? We don't. Because love, we see love to be, a feeling. And so once we feel it, that is all. But love is comprehensive. It comes with so many things.
But that is why we court. So that in the courtship, we get to know each other.
But so, do we court in friendship?
So what are we so what we court?
We court only in love. A lot of us don't court building the friendship. That's why I'm saying that when you talk to my friend, like there are some friends I have worked with. They may know so many secrets about me because I think they are my friends. I open up and just tell them, oh, Charlie, me, when it comes to these issues, this is how I react to. But your partner, you want to be so sanctimonious and manage the relationship so much that you want to keep it. And at the end of the day, when you are with the person, that's why there are a lot of couples, when they are with each other, they are not free. They are married, but they are not free because during the time of courting, they could not open up for you to know that I'm not holy, I'm not all perfect. There are certain aspects when I get blown off, sometimes my attitude can be wild. Some of you, when you ever arrive there, you contain it. The day you see you doing it outside, comes some, hey, what happened, Kofi? So sometimes the opening up is so important, but you can only open up to the level of the friendship you have built with your partner. Because when I'm telling a friend I've worked with for 15 years certain things about me, I assume the person for some reason will respect that position and possibly offer any assistance supposing he has. If that is not there, and I'm only looking at the day we share the vow, my brother, I would rather keep it. When you get to know, make do with it, deal with it, manage it,
Pa. I'll come to you with the management bit, Kofi. Whether it is not easy to manage it, because people are struggling in there. But let me come back to you. And again, during your submissions, your earlier submissions, you made mention of the fact that tell your partner about your medical condition. Tell your partner about this and that, especially the ones that you cannot really hide. So you've heard the man say, or the woman say, don't hide it if you have a child. Say it. But here's a situation where you tell this person about it. And then he or she is uncomfortable and so therefore mean to me and breaks with you. And unfortunately, this same person will not keep it to himself. Oh, now so then they are destroying you. And it goes down. And as it keeps going, I hear it. My very good friend at Love FM, Gabriel hears it. Jeff Jones hears it. So they all form opinions about me. So why should I tell you in the first place? So if we need people to share, how do we handle the information we get?
The catch here is that if you don't share it today, it will come out tomorrow. And when it comes out, without you managing how it comes out, it becomes even worse. I know of a couple. They were both, as for them, they were just carriers. And it came up, and one of them's father said, never, because we don't know. You are both AS. You may have a sickle cell child. So over my dead body for this marriage. So that's how come I even got to know that they were both AS. Everybody gets to know. When I say everybody, it comes out. The relationship broke up. The other person went off, traveled, and the other person married. a non-career, and they even have a child now.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, everybody hears. But David, I dare say that it is better now than when after they've been married, or maybe just days to the wedding, or they've been married for 2 years, 3 years, then they have the sickle cell child, and then the guy comes up, my father is giving me wahala because now I have to buy more medicines, and you won't even be happy in the relationship. By that time, all trust will be broken down, and people will still hear. So Toria Eyewodiana. It's a painful thing. This thing, we had to go through a lot of counseling with the two individuals. It was very painful, but it was better at that stage than later. So as for the pain, as for the rejection, as for feeling embarrassed, feeling like you are the only one who has something wrong with it, will come. But the intensity will be more if you don't say it early enough.
But, Mommy, you talked about a few other things. Let me throw in this question: maturity. We often say that marriage is for people who are mature.
Not for young people.
Yes, for people who are mature, not necessarily by age.
No.
So my question therefore is if you get to a point in time in your relationship with that person, and you are nearly married, should you, and for one reason or the other, she tells you something, he tells you something, you think that, well, I cannot cope with this in a marriage, so you decide not to. Shouldn't you manage the responses to friends and relations when they ask you why the two didn't get married? Should you just open up and say, oh, Sana wa obe mi in crowd, oh, Sana wa yare we, oh, Sana. How do we?
Then you are not being mature.
That's what I'm saying.
You are not being responsible. You know, the individual, you see, we have spoken about timing. So he or she will open up at the time when he feels that you are able to manage it somehow. Unfortunately, you are not able to take it and take her as well. So you want a breakup, you want a split. If you are mature enough, and if you indeed really did love that individual, you will keep it. There are many instances where people break up and nobody ever got to know what the reason was. Unless you really want to hurt the person. You know, there comes a time when you tell, the individual feels offended. The other person may feel cheated. And then he will want to retaliate by telling other people about it. And that is what we also want to avoid. That you don't go so far before you tell for the person, and no one can't share me. If I had known this earlier, this or that, and then he feels that now I want to get back at you. That is when they keep on telling other people. But when they feel that you've really been considerate of their feelings, then they will rather want to shield you, even though the relationship could not go on. They rather want to shield you and support you and protect you from, wagging tongues and all those kind of things. So we need